Peace, power, and of course prosperity to my beautiful family. This is ordained metaphysical minister Corbin reporting live. As always, my beautiful family, I want to thank you for taking the time and rocking and vibing with the minister. As you can see by the title, this is the gateway to healing. Before I get started, I'm going to show you something. But I want you to know that can't nobody tell you how to heal. You can read a bunch of books. You can go to a bunch of lectures, but true healing can only happen when you are ready to heal yourself, and that must be within. The world is changing, and the only way you can adapt to that change of that world is go within yourself. Know that God already got you, and you ain't got to look outside of God or yourself for nothing else. Healing, it is time for it. I done gave you everything I need to give you about what Christ is and what Christ means in the I am. Now, as a minister, a metaphysical one, the remainder of my life on this planet is awakening those who have always been ready to be awakening to the fact that they are greater and giving them the tools they need to understand the Christ within them. I am here only by way of the cosmic Christ consciousness that is here on this planet. I thank the divine energy of the planet Chiron for allowing me to reach this full pinnacle in the name of the divine Christ. I want to show you guys something right quick. Because like I said, in a few minutes, what I'm about to drop is going to be a very emotional video, and it's going to help you heal. I want to show you this, and I don't know if you got a chance to see this the last time I was flashing these around, but as you can see, when I do these videos, when I see you guys in the stores, wherever we run in, when you see me with the passion of love and showing the love to you and letting you know that you are greater, this is not no fluke. Christ ordained me to do this. So shall it be. Practitioner diploma to whom these letters shall come, having successfully passed the requirement examination, Darius Marquise Corbin, minister that is, has been awarded the certificate to professionally engage in the treatment of physical and mental alignments and conditions through the use of spiritual mind treatment in the capacity of a metaphysical practitioner. And so shall it be. There are some of you who need healing, don't know where to turn. You go to your church, but as you can see, there is so much going on in there. You try family, but you don't know who to trust because you don't know if your privacy is going to be going out into the public. So who do you trust? You trust God. You trust Christ within you. That's who you trust. You don't trust nobody except God. Where's God? He's within you. He's always been. I'm going to read something for you right quick, guys. And you have homework to do as well tonight. When you get a chance, of course. But definitely tonight. I want you to research 2 words. The first one is hyperarousal. Hyperarousal. That is spelled Hyperarousal. The second one, my family, is going to be hypervigilance. That second word is going to be hypervigilance. That is spelled Hypervigilance. The title of this video, family, is called The Gateway to Healing. Only you can heal yourself. But after I read this is going to open up a lot of chakras. This is going to have you thinking and have you healing and have you rebuilding yourself if that's what you so look for. But understand, only you can heal you, but you can do it. Don't doubt yourself. Don't give yourself, I got this, this is holding me back. The doctor said I got this. No. Because if you truly believe in the God, the Christ within you, the one source, you are already healed. Welcome to the Gateways of Healing, family. Are you ready? Once again, you got two words to study extensively tonight. The first one is hyperarousal. The second one is hypervigilance. My family, I love you all. Christ loves you. Let's go. If you grew up in a home where there was inconsistency due to emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, or other violence or neglect, or the witnessing of emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, violence, neglect, then no doubt you were psychologically in a consistent state of hyperarousal and hypervigilance. Now remember, I told you to remember those two words. Search them and then search them extensively. Before I go in, and I'm going to go in, I promise you, by the time this is done, you're going to be healed. You're going to begin your process of healing. This is not me healing you. This is yourself by way of Christ that is within you that will be healing you after this is done. I'm going to start again. If you grew up in a home where there was inconsistencies due to emotional, physical, or sexual abuse or other violence or neglect, or witnessing of emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, violence, neglect, then no doubt you were psychologically in a consistent state of hyperarousal and hypervigilance. This means that your central nervous system, or CNS, this means that your central nervous system, or CNS, is, as an adult, in psychological hyper alert at all times. As a result, you may continuously, consciously, or subconsciously scan the environment for emotional, physical, or sexual danger. Unpredictability or chaos. Let me read that again. This means that your central nervous system, or CNS, is, as an adult, in psychological hyper alert at all times. As a result, you may continually, consciously, or subconsciously scan the environment for emotional, physical, or sexual danger, unpredictability, or chaos. Being hyper alert means that you never fully trust that the moments of quiet and peace that you do experience will be other than fleeting. Let's stop there right quick. I'm not going to hold too much of the time. How many of you out there, and be honest, because you're not by yourself, how many of you out there always got to find something to worry about? Always got to find something to stress about. And even when that is dead, you find something out. You find something else to stress about or to worry about. You can be honest here. This is the Cosmic Christ University. This is broadcast on Facebook, on TikTok, and also on YouTube. You can be honest with yourself here. I'm going to read that again. And if this is you, this is why you need to hear this. As a result, you may continually, consciously, or subconsciously scan the environment for emotional, physical, or sexual danger, unpredictability, or chaos. Being hyper alert means that you never fully trust that the moments of quiet and peace that you do experience will be other than fleeting. You therefore find yourself in a perpetual state of waiting for the other shoe to drop, which it always does at some point. And when it does, you are cast back into neurological distress, often without an appropriate context of comfort or care. This hypervigilance, remember the other word, this hypervigilance is a normal reaction to the abnormal experiences of chaos, abuse, trauma, unpredictability, uncertainty, and fear. I don't care if this got to be a 20-minute video. I am going to break this down for my family. So first off, I want to say the things that you went through in your past are not your fault. A lot of people went through traumas, dramas, abuse, everything in their youth. This is not your fault, but it is your duty to rise above that. Do not let that hinder you, and a lot of you have. I'm going to read on what happens when you do that. Thank you, my beautiful family, for your time. Let's read over. You therefore find yourself in a perpetual state of waiting for the other shoe to drop, which it always does at some point. And when it does, you are cast back into neurological distress, often without an appropriate context of comfort or care. This hypervigilance is a normal reaction to the abnormal experience of chaos, abuse, trauma, unpredictability, uncertainty, and fear. As survivors of trauma, we may naturally default to an array of self-protective mechanisms of defense, including disassociation, dispersonalization, intellectualization, sublimation, repression, denial, reaction, formation, compartmentalization, projection, or acting out. Not going to read that again, but you guys heard that. It's a lot, and trust me, if you sit back and rewind it back, you will find some of you in each of those. Now, continuing on. To meditate our pain and meet our needs, these compensating methods saved us from absorbing the stressful reality of what was happening in our lives at the time. And I want to read that back in its entirety. As survivors of trauma, we may naturally default to an array of self-protective mechanisms. I guess I'll be reading those again. Well, here we go. As survivors of trauma, we may naturally default to an array of self-protective mechanisms of defense, including disassociation, dispersonalization, intellectualization, sublimation, repression, denial, reaction, formation, compartmentalization, projection, or acting out. To mediate our pain and meet our needs, these compensatory methods saved us from absorbing the stressful reality of what was happening in our lives at the time. But listen, this is where it changes. Once again, family, but listen, this is where you grow up. As we grow into adulthood, these defensive mechanisms turns against us and become maladaptive. That means dangerous, destructive. Let me read that again. I want you to understand this. I ain't got too much. As survivors of trauma, and there's a lot of people who are watching this video respectfully who've been through trauma, who've been through abuse, or at least witness it. As survivors of trauma, we may naturally default to an array of self-protective mechanisms of defense, including disassociation, depersonalization, intellectualization, sublimation, repression, denial, reaction, formation, compartmentalization, projection, or just plain acting out. To mediate our pain and meet our needs. These compensatory methods saved us at that time from absorbing the stressful reality of what was happening in our lives at that time. But family, this is what the churches didn't tell you. But listen, as we grow into adulthood, these defensive mechanisms turn against us. So what were used was protecting us to a certain defense is up. Let me read that again. As we grow into adulthood, my beautiful family, these defensive mechanisms turns against us and become maladaptive. That's maladaptive. They cause us problems with our affect regulations, i.e. emotional balance, and in our relationship with others. Some of you who think you got it all together, or you've been working yourself on getting yourself together, you try to jump a relationship, then things happen and you're like, what I thought I had. It's because certain things that are hidden within your subconscious that you never dealt with are popping back up where certain things look familiar. But let's keep on going. As we grow into adulthood, I read that part. As adults, many of us succeed in creating a life of sustained peace. Let me read that again. As adults, many of us succeed in creating a life of sustained peace and tranquility, and yet at the same time, we may encounter emotional triggers which provoke us into worrying that something intrusive or negative may come along to take away what we have. A trigger is an unhealed memory or energetic attachment lying dormant, waiting to be discovered, akin to stepping on a hidden landmine. Triggers often reside in the shadows and hidden recesses of our consciousness and may be completely out of our normal everyday awareness. It's important to reassure yourself during and after having been triggered that you're having a natural reaction to a wound that has been hidden from your consciousness. You may be experiencing a reaction to core wounding that has been opened up and activated. It has made its presence known to you so that you can embrace the parts of yourself that Chiron illuminates. Now, the author says, as a young person, it may be that you didn't have the power to create or maintain peace in your environment. How many of you felt like that when you were kids? Like you seen certain abuse going on in your family, you seen your mom or your dad or certain siblings go through it. At that time, you and definitely your mind felt that you were too young to deal with it. You wanted to deal with it, but I'm only a kid. What can I do? This is what this part is saying. Listen again. As a young person, it may be that you didn't have the power to create or maintain peace in your environment, no matter how hard you tried. When you stand now as an adult, it's different. Once you begin to apply daily empathy and self-forgiveness to the vulnerabilities that Chiron reveals, that's Chiron, I encourage all of you to research Chiron. Once you begin to apply daily empathy and self-forgiveness to the vulnerabilities that Chiron reveals, no one will have the power to take away the confidence that you are building. Excuse me. And that's the key to this. A lot of you give your power away. Keep your power. Bless yourself. And once you bless yourself, then you can bless others. But right now, worry about you. Don't be out here trying to be all in everybody's business. Worry about you at this state of time. That's where God's blessings is. It's within you. So let's wrap this up once again. Where you stand now, my beautiful family, as an adult is different from where you were as a child, of course. Once you begin to apply daily empathy and self-forgiveness to the vulnerabilities that Chiron reveals, no one will have the power to take away the confidence you're building. You will experience a new way of living life that is progressively filled with what you want and contains less and less of what you don't want. The more often you give yourself permission to experience inner peace, I want you guys to listen to this. The more often you give yourself, I want you to listen, you. The more often you give yourself permission to experience inner peace, joy, happiness, love, and bliss, the more deeply you rewire the neural pathways of your brain to adapt to a new baseline of existence that's rooted in stability. You can begin to feel safe as you gradually bring yourself into interior alignment with your core self. There will be fewer and fewer experiences of disappointment and hardship to navigate because you have changed your patterns. Family, we are here now. Christ is here. I promise you. I am living proof of it. But you can only find Christ once you go within yourself. With that being said, I'm going to leave us out with the affirmation prayer. I thank you all, and I encourage you to continue to know yourself and give yourself the power and praise, and know that Christ, the kingdom of heaven, has always been within. I'll leave you with this affirmation. The kingdom of God is within me. Through the grace of God, I can feed multitudes. I can share supply, companionship, friendship, service, all good. From the affinity, which is my being, I can begin to pour out rather than to expect someone or something in the external to provide for my needs. Christ within, I thank you for blessing me with abundance, prosperity, and bliss. To my family out there, the power has always been within you. Continue to know it. Have a blessed life. Continue to live the way you want to live. Peace and love.